Welcome everybody. My name is Andrew Patricia and I'm going to be your presenter today. Today we're going to discuss the 7 secrets of building a successful business. I don't know if they're secrets, but I want to share with you what I've learned working with business owners over the last 21 years and some of the things that they've shared with me that have helped them build successful businesses. So that's what the topic is going to be about. Remember, if you've got any questions, feel free to post them and ask me questions. I want this to be an interesting webinar, and I want you to learn a couple of things that you can use straight away in building a successful business. So when it comes to building a successful business, there are a couple of really key things. And the first thing I always say to business owners is start off with a very, very simple business vision. And this is great advice, because every now and then I will get business owners coming to visit me, and they're asking me for advice. And let me tell you something, when they know where they want to go, it makes it so much easier for me to give them directions. And really, this is the key thing, is you've got to know what you want to create. So some of the things that I want you to think about is, when it comes to creating your business vision, some of the things I want you to think about is, what will your business look like? Let's say, for example, you and I were sitting in a coffee shop drinking a cup of coffee, and I said to you, what will your business look like in 3 years' time? What will it look like in 5 years' time? What will it look like in 10 years' time? The more clarity you have, the better it is for you. Because if I know you want to build a $1 million business, I will give you $1 million advice. And I have found, in the case of our business, is as we've evolved, as we've changed, as we've developed over the years, I find that our vision has changed. So on a regular basis, I'm looking at our business vision and saying, are we still on track? Do we still want to become that? You know, do we still want to employ 200 people? Do we still want to grow across the country? These are the type of questions I need to be asking myself all the time. Another question I encourage you to ask yourself is, what do you want to be known for? You know, when people speak about you, when they speak about your business, what do you want people to say about it? And I think this really helps refining and perfecting your business vision, because these are the things that people speak about. These are the things that people will talk about for many, many years. And these are the things you want people to say about them. So what do you want people to say about your values? What do you want people to say about your principles? And there are certain businesses that you and I deal with on a daily basis, and the reason we buy from them, or the reason we go to them regularly, is because we like their values, we like their principles, we like the fact that they look after the environment. Whatever it is, these are things that are important. Another question you can ask, what's the perfect business look like to you? Let's say your business was perfect, and I don't believe that exists, but let's say your business was perfect. What would this look like? And I think if you can come up with a clear idea what this is going to be, this is going to really, really help you. So I encourage you to go through this exercise. I really encourage you to go through it, because it's going to make it. Another thing I encourage you to think about is, what is your exit strategy? So every single one of us should be building a business that we can one day sell. And if you want to build a sellable business, this is really something that you need to think about in the beginning, because certain businesses are not sellable. And let's give an example. Let's say I've been a consultant for the last 10 years, and the business relies totally on me. This makes it very, very difficult to sell that business. So as a business owner, you need to think about this. You know, do I want to sell my business? Do I want to hand it over to my family? Do I want to maybe franchise it? Do I want to maybe grow internationally? All of these things are going to have an impact on how you create this business, on how you build this business. Because just think of it, if you want to sell, for example, to your competitors, you need to build a business that is sellable. And this is really, really key, because often in small business, We build a business that really relies on us, and then one day when we want to sell our business, we don't really have a sellable business. So just be very, very careful of this. So the starting point for building a successful business is starting off with a very clear vision of exactly what you want to build. And if anybody thinks back to the example of Microsoft, when Bill Gates built Microsoft, he was very, very clear. I want a desktop computer on every single desk. That was his goal. And that was his vision. And you've got to understand the importance of that. So we need to create a similar type of thing. You might say, for example, I want to build a business that is going to employ 200 people, that is going to operate across 5 different states, or whatever it is. So that's the starting point. That's the vision. That's the thing you need to share with your employees. That's the thing you need to get your employers and your partners behind. Once you've created this really clear vision, your next thing is to create a plan to achieve your vision. So this is what we want to become. How are we going to do that? And that's the next process. And this is where planning becomes really, really important. That you and I as business owners really create a simple, structured plan. And this is the way I like to do things. I like to start off with really very clear business goals that I want to achieve. So that's the starting point. What do I want to achieve? What sales do I want to generate? What customers do I want to buy from me? All those type of things are the most important thing. The second thing is to write these things down. So once you've thought very, very clearly of exactly what your goals are, you need to be writing these things down. And this is probably one of the most important exercises you will ever get involved in, is to be very, very clear on exactly what your goals are. So this is what I encourage you to do. Write down goals that you want to achieve over the next 12 months. Perfect timing now. Write down goals you want to achieve over the next 3 years. Write down goals you want to achieve over the next 5 years. Write down goals that you want to achieve over the next 10 years. And some of you could even go 20 years. You want to think in advance and say, this is how much revenue I want to be doing in 5 years' time. What are the steps that I need to take to achieve that goal? And really, it's about writing down goals and achieving it. And I think this is what drives business owners. This is what motivates us to move in a direction. So learn to write down your goals. And then your plan is to get everybody behind it. So all of your employees, all of your partners, so that your suppliers understand what you want to create. And this is one of the biggest challenges we have as business owners, is to sell our concept, to sell our idea, to sell our goals to the people that are working with us. I always encourage business owners to keep their plans short and simple. So we've started with a business vision. The next thing is we want to create a plan. And the simpler your plan is, the better it is for you. So I've created a really simple document, and I've been refining it actually over the last few months. So some of you maybe have seen this before, and I'm really just tweaking it, working on it to get it perfect. And this is the plan that I use nowadays. And I encourage you to do exactly the same thing. So the first section on the left-hand side here is the problem. So this is what I want you to do, is I want you to sit your customers around a table, a boardroom table, and I want you to ask them, what challenges are they going through on a daily basis that you can resolve for them? And it's really key that you understand that the most successful businesses out there, the most successful businesses out there that you and I buy from on a daily basis, are solving people's problems or identifying opportunities in the market. And I want you to do this. I want you to sit down with your clients, your potential clients. I want you to sit down with your employees and really think about this. What problems are we solving? What problems have we identified? Once we can identify what the problems are, the next thing is, what are the solutions? So let's use an example. Let's say BizLaunch. We'd come up with a solution. We create a turnkey webinar platform, for example. We create templates for our clients. We create content. We run seminars. We'd be very, very clear on exactly what problems our customers would have, and more importantly, what solutions we'd come up for them. So really what services we'd offer or what products we'd offer. And for some of you, you will go through this problem and solution thing and realize very, very quickly that there are no changes to be made. But for some of us, we identify opportunities. And this is why going through this exercise on a regular basis is a really good idea. And I think the timing is perfect now. As the new year comes along, you know, you want to plan for 2018. What are we going to be doing? What products are we going to sell in 2018? What services are we going to sell? What new products are we going to sell? What new services are we going to sell? Or are we going to keep doing the same thing? That's okay. The third thing is to identify your target customers. I had a very interesting example this week. I was speaking to a business owner, a very common situation. He's been in partnership with somebody for the last 2 years, and now has decided he's going to go on his own. And one of the first exercises I made him do was, I said to him, I want you to go over your database for the last 2 years, every single sale you've made. And in his case, it was quite easy to do because he's in the real estate business. I said, go through every single sale you've made. First of all, identify who was the person that bought it, how much did they pay for the property, in this case, where they were from, what country they were from was quite important, and how did they find you. And this is really, I think, a very key exercise that every single one of us need to go through, is to really understand our customer, to really understand their demographics, for example, to really understand their psychographics. So what influences their buying decisions? The more clarity we have on who our customer is, and this is something really key that you've got to understand, that as your business evolves, as your business grows, this tends to change. And for some of us, it changes quite drastically. So going through the last 12 months of business is a really helpful exercise because it gives us some really useful information that is going to make our marketing so much more effective. And with this business owner, this was a great example because once he sent me the list of the sales he had generated over the last 2 years, it was very, very easy for me to identify who his target customers were. Where should he spend his marketing dollars? And that's really what you want to work out. The fourth thing you want to focus on are what marketing tools are you going to use. And as a business owner, you've got to decide this. You've got to decide over the next 12 months, how am I going to get customers? Am I going to use email marketing? Am I going to use more social media? Am I going to use the telephone more? Am I going to improve my website? All of these things are decisions we need to make. We've gone through quite a lot of change. I was sitting down with a business owner over coffee this morning, and I was saying, you know, over the last 12 months, it's been a really interesting year. Some of you might have noticed, for example, we've changed all our technology. We've rebuilt our website. We're using different email software. We're using different webinar software. So there's been a lot of change. Now we got to build on that. So in 2018, our goal is really, really simple. How do we use these marketing tools that we've created to better connect with our customers? And really, that is the key thing. You've got to identify very, very clearly. Even when you say things like, we're going to use social media more, what does that mean? The more specific you are, the better it is. We're going to create a video once a week, or we're going to create a podcast once a week, or we're going to use Facebook advertising, or we're going to use Google. Whatever it is, the more specific you are, the better it is. The fifth thing on this template is your value proposition. And I want you to think about this. What makes your business different? You've got to be very, very careful that as your business evolves, as your business grows, what sometimes happens is we become too much like our competitors. And then if we become too much like our competitors, there's nothing to differentiate us. And just be very, very careful of this. You want to be different. You want to be unique. You want to be special. Because if you're not unique, special, or different, you don't have a reason for your customers to buy from you. So that's the fifth thing. The sixth thing that we need to work on over the next 12 months is, and every one of you should go through this exercise now. And I'm lucky I've just done my financial statements, which we're going to be submitting. One of the key things are, what are my monthly fixed expenses? I've got to be very, very clear as a business owner exactly what my monthly fixed expenses are. The second thing is I need to know what my gross profit margin is. If I'm selling products, every single one of my products, I need to know exactly what they are. If I'm selling a service, I need to know that I'm charging a fair price for every single service I'm selling. And it's really key that you're very clear on this, that you've done this exercise and checked this. The other thing you want to know is exactly what your break even is. And I'm going to discuss this a little bit more later on. But when you're creating a plan, these are the things you need to go through. If you're a startup, what are your startup costs? When it comes to cash flow, every single one of us now should be doing our cash flow forecast for 2018. So we need to know, do we have enough money to keep this business up and running? If we need to borrow money, how much do we need to borrow? All important questions that we need to answer. And what are our customer acquisition costs? And I encourage you to work this out. Go through your last year's financial statement. How much revenue did you generate? How much marketing did you spend? And divide the sales by your marketing costs, and you will calculate exactly what your acquisition costs are. It's really key that we know what that number is. When it comes to our revenue, what is our revenue model? Has it changed? Are we maybe coming up with a subscription services? Are we maybe coming up with a different way of invoicing customers? Are we coming up with a different way of selling these things? These are some of the questions we need to ask. And some of the answers are no, we're going to do what we've been doing, but some of them may include we're going to be changing. When you do sales forecast, what are your assumptions? And I think this is really going to help you become a better business owner when you start thinking about this on a regular basis. So what are the problems in the industry? What solutions have we come up with? Who are our target customers? What marketing tools are we going to use? What is our unique value proposition? What numbers do we need to monitor over the next 12 months? And how are we going to generate revenue? The more clarity you have, the better it is for you. And you've really got to be clear. The other thing I encourage you to do is to do a SWOT analysis of your business. Oh, I'll go one step even further. Rather go out there and get other business owners that you know, maybe don't even know your industry, and say this to them, say, you know what I want you to do is I want you to go through my business and make sure that you look at all my strengths and weaknesses. And one of the questions I was asked here, does this apply to an e-commerce business? Let me just say something to you. I believe as a business owner, whether I'm selling stuff online or offline makes no difference. That's just the platform. So just be very, very careful of always thinking, and this happens to me regularly. People say, does this apply to my type of business? Yes, it applies to your type of business. Because if you don't offer unique products or services, if you don't do something different, if you don't market, you're also not going to survive. So it doesn't matter what the nature of the business is. It doesn't matter how you're selling your stuff, whether it's online, whether it's offline, you've got to ask yourself these questions. So let's go through this SWOT analysis. What are the questions that we need to ask ourselves? Firstly, I need to identify my strengths. What advantages do I have over my competitors? So another very important question. Let's say you and I were sitting down drinking a cup of coffee, and I'd ask you a simple question. What things do you do that your competitors don't? What advantages? If somebody had to say to you the difference between you and your competitors, what would those advantages be? And you need to know that if you do not have an answer to that question, you have a problem. So think about this. What advantages do you offer over your competitors? What makes your business unique? What makes it different? And again, bringing in other business owners would really help. I mean, a very good example for an online e-commerce business is let people go to your site and actually shop it and decide, is this easy to do? Because I tell you something, sometimes we forget. We think it's about just putting stuff online, creating our business, but the reality is, how easy is it to buy from you? So these are some of the questions we need to have answered that are really, really key. What do customers identify as your strengths? When people buy from you, when people have bought from you before, what do they say they love about your business? What are the strengths? What are the good things about your business that they say? These are the type of things we need to be looking for. What problems do you solve better than anybody else? So when your customer's got a unique challenge, when your customer's got a problem, What is it that you do that is unique? What is it that you do that is different? What do you do that is special? These are the type of things we need to identify, because these are our strengths, and these are the things we need to speak about. When we're selling, when we're marketing, when we're going to prospect, these are the things we need to think about. So working on the strengths is the nice part. Working on your weaknesses, maybe not so nice. But I encourage you to be honest with yourself. I really encourage you to be honest with yourself. Try and identify where are the weak spots in our business. Is it our marketing? Is it our website? Is it our follow-up? Is it our reliability? Is it our, whatever it is, we need to identify those things. Because once we know what the problem is, we can then address it. But you've really got to understand what your weaknesses are. Develop solutions to overcome these. So write down all your weaknesses. For example, you might say, you know what, our website is not easy to navigate, or our social media, we're not doing it regularly, or our customer service is not that good, or I hate doing admin, it's never up to date, or I hate doing the accounting. Whatever it is, the more you identify your challenges, the weaknesses, the better it is for you. So I encourage you to think about this, and maybe that's one of your strategies for 2018, is to identify the weaknesses in our business, to identify some of the challenges and then address them. And I think this is really, really key. And we've gone through that process over the last 12 months, which is a really painful process. I want you to understand this. And the reason it's very painful is because we often don't want to change, because changing is hard. We don't like changing. So when somebody says to you, you know, go through this, so go through this and make sure that that you identify your weaknesses, we don't want to be honest with ourselves. In the case of the BizLaunch, that's exactly what we did this year, is develop solutions to overcome your weaknesses, whatever they are. And it's really key that you do this. As a business owner, it's going to make you a better business owner. Another thing you could do is go through growth opportunities. Where are the opportunities in 2018? Because the one thing I have found, and hopefully you found the same thing, is that I find that things are changing so fast that if we don't change, we're not going to survive. So we've got to try and identify growth opportunities in our industries. We've got to try and identify where's our industry growing, what direction is it going in, so that we can work on those things. So we need to think about this. Again, a great exercise that you go through, and I encourage you to do this. Go through with your staff and say, where do you think we should be growing in 2018? And then what are the threats to our growth? You know, is it the minimum wage is going to have an impact on our business? Is it the cost of advertising? Is it our margins are being squeezed? Is it our industry is becoming too competitive? Whatever it is, we need to try and identify these things so that we can focus on coming up with solutions. So I encourage you to go through this exercise. Firstly, do it yourself, then do it with your staff, and then go one step further and invite business owners to come into your business and really be honest with you. When it comes to our marketing and sales, this is a really important part of our business. I always say this to business owners. I would rather work with a business owner that has an average product that is brilliant at marketing and sales than work with somebody that has a brilliant product or service but is bad at marketing and sales. I want you to understand that being good at marketing and being good at selling solves a lot of problems in. And so you've got to become really good at marketing and sales. This has got to become your thing. If there's one thing you want to focus on in 2018, is your marketing and sales, about learning how to become better at it, learning how to find the right people to do the things that you need to do, because it's really key that we become very, very good at marketing and sales. We've really got to improve it. And becoming good at marketing and sales is a process. I really believe it's a process. The first thing we need to look at, which is really, really key, is let's start off with really understanding who our customer is. So really start off by really understanding who our customer is. And understanding your customer is going through an exercise. So what's happening in our industry? What changes are taking place? What changes are taking place in our industry that we need to address? And I think it's very, very important. It's very, very important that you as a business owner really understand your industry, So make sure that you address this. What trends are taking place in your industry? What changes, what developments are taking place in your industry? And you've really got to understand this. That's the first thing. The second thing is, who are our customers? And I mentioned this a little bit earlier on when I was discussing the business plan canvas, is you got to be very, very clear as a business owner who your customers are. So for example, one key thing for you may be, what area are they from? How much do they buy? How often do they buy? The more information you have about your customers, the better it is for you. It's going to make you a better marketer. The more you understand your customers, the more effective your marketing is going to be. And I found this, that often we don't analyze the data enough. We don't really know who our customer is. And as a business owner, you need to know. There is so much information available to us nowadays that makes us better marketers. So go through your database and find out all the commonalities. Look for things that are in common. Where do people live? Are they male? Are they female? All those things that you can ask. The more information you have, the better it is for you, because you want to be clear on who your customer is. Know your market. What do customers think about your product or service? When was the last time you went to your customers and asked them, what can we do to improve our products? What can we do to improve our services? These are the type of questions we need to be asking. Another thing you need to look at is, who are your competitors? I find that in my industry, and I don't know if it's the same in your industry, but our competitors are changing. New people coming into the market, other people going out of business. This is what's happening in our industry. So we need to make sure that we address this. We need to make sure that we understand who our competitors are. How much do our competitors charge? When was the last time you went out and did a survey of your competitors' prices? When was the last time you got quotes from your competitors, or got somebody to get quotes from your competitors, to really understand how much they are charging? And this is really key, whether you're selling a product, whether you're selling a service, whether you're doing it online, whether you're doing it offline, whether you're doing seminars, whether you're doing whatever you're doing, you need to understand this. So how much do they charge? How do they market their stuff? So go and analyze your competitors. Just see what they are doing. Are they using email marketing? Are they using Facebook advertising? Are they cold calling? Are they using the telephone? Whatever it is, we need to try and identify that. Because once we can identify what are they doing, maybe we'll do the same thing, or we'll do something different that differentiates us. But we really need to understand how our competitors are marketing themselves. What are your competitors' strengths and weaknesses? And this is where you've got to be really honest. You've got to ask people that are buying from your competitors, why? What are they doing really well? What are their strengths? What are they not doing so well? So you can capitalize on that. So it's really understanding this information. Again, I've created this really simple template, and I'm sure some of you have seen it before, but if you haven't, the idea here is to simplify, to really simplify your marketing. What are your marketing objectives? What customers are you going to go after? What are your competitors? Who are your competitors? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How are they marketing themselves? What is your value proposition? What is your competitor's value proposition? What marketing tools are you going to use? What are you going to do about customer service to improve your customer service? What is your lead nurturing strategy? When somebody contacts you, what's the process? And we need to create systems and processes, else we have chaos. How much money are we going to be spending on marketing? What percentage of our revenue is going to go to growing our business? And how are we going to measure the effectiveness? So these are really simple tools, but very important tools that you and I use on a regular basis. And I find that when we have templates, when we ask ourselves this question, it makes it so much better. selling is something that business owners are often good at doing. But what happens sometimes is we become too busy to make money. And what do I mean when I say we become too busy to make money? Is we start focusing on the wrong things. As a business owner, the way we make money is by selling. And often we are the best salesperson. Why? Because our life depends on it. We are passionate about our product or service. These are the type of things that are important for us. So when it comes to sales, sometimes focusing on the things that you used to do, just be very, very careful that as your business grows, what happens is things happen. We start, I mean, this week I spent, yesterday, for example, working on my accounting and bookkeeping. That doesn't make money. So I've got to be very, very careful of not focusing on the wrong things as a business owner. So some of the things you and I need to think about, which are very, very important, is let me set some sales targets. Let me be very, very clear on exactly how much revenue I want to generate. And this is something that's very, very important, because you've got to understand that if you don't tell me as your salesperson how much revenue I need to generate, well, I'm just going to go out there and do what I think is right. And sometimes doing what I think is right is just not enough for you. So just be very, very careful of this, is that you're not specific on what you want. I had an example. I was running a seminar in a city, and I was speaking about setting specific sales targets. And this guy was saying to me, he said, why would you set specific sales targets? Why not just sell as much as you can? And I said to him, what does as much as you can mean? Do you understand is that when you don't have specific numbers to things, people have got no idea what you mean. So you've got to make sure that it's clear. This is how much revenue I want you to generate. The more clarity you have, the better it is. Maybe now's the time to focus on simple stuff. You know, generating leads. Maybe now's the time to pick up the phone. I was speaking to a business owner earlier on. He was saying to me, you know, sometimes when business is quiet, it's good for you because you focus on the things that you've been ignoring that have to be done, like picking up the phone. In 2017 and 2018, for some of you, that is still your best sales tool. You actually pick up the phone and you speak to people. You start building up a relationship. I was saying this to a business owner early on. I was saying early on that this is what I believe, and maybe you agree with this. The advantage we have, some of us, is our relationships with our customer. I think a good business owner is somebody that is good at building relationships and good at managing projects. That's basically the two key things that going forward we need to build a successful business. Those are the two key things. We need to be really, really good at relationships. We need to be really, really good at project managing. If you can do those two things well, your chances of succeeding in a business going forward, I think, are better. So pick up that phone. Start building relationships with people. You know, email them regularly. I have a little habit that I've created over time that I regularly communicate with everybody in my database every 90 days. You know why I do that? Because it makes me money. And I've realized it's about relationships. And you've got to understand, if you understand that it's about relationships, you're going to become a better business owner. What I find is in these startup stages of our business, we often spend a lot of time doing that thing. Spend time on the phone, spend time networking, spend time emailing, then we get too busy. So just be very, very careful of this. The other thing is work on creating content. I believe that every one of us online, including myself, are just not creating enough content. We're not sharing our expertise. We're not doing enough things out there to really build relationships with our customers. So these are some of the things we need to be doing so that we can generate more sales. Because really at the end of the day, it's about sales. It's really about sales. The more you sell, the more appointments you set up, the better it is for you. Because most of us are like that. We know that if we set up appointments, we get the sales. Let's focus on those things that generate revenue. The other thing that makes a successful business is employing good people. You know, I often speak to business owners, especially those that have built very, very successful business. This is what they say to me. They say to me that having good people is the most important thing, which should be quite obvious. But you've got to understand that this has got to be your goal. Your goal is to find good people and then teach them how to do things properly. That is your goal, is teach them how to do things your way. Teach them how to become just as good or even better than you. And these are the things we need to understand, is we've got to have good people. So the first thing you need to do is look at the gaps in your business. Where are you having challenges? Is it your marketing? Is it your accounting? Is it your sales? Sales shouldn't be, because that should be your thing. You've got to try and identify where are the gaps. What are the people that I need to help me grow my business? And sometimes it's not employing people full time. Actually, I think it's often employing consultants or employing other small business owners or employing part-time people, whatever. The key thing is we've got to identify where the gaps are in our knowledge, in our experience. We've got to be honest with ourselves and say, I'm really good at this, but I'm not so good at that. And those not so good at that things, you've got to find somebody better than you, because that's what's going to make you a successful business owner. So look for the gaps. What people do you need to grow your business? If you could have these people, who would they be? Because the reality is, a small business owner often will say, I cannot afford a marketing person. And maybe that's true. But maybe you can get a marketing person for 2 hours a week, or maybe you can get a marketing person for 1 day a week. Or, you know, these are the type of things we need to think about. Think about what do you need to grow your business and go and look for these people. Develop profiles of the ideal person. What is this person going to do for me? Are they going to create emails for me? Do they have to be a good writer? Do they have to be a good presenter? Whatever it is, we need to create profiles. Get good people with a great attitude. And I think this is really, really key as a business owner, that we find great people that can work with us, that are more intelligent than us, that have skills that we don't have, that can help us build a business. Outsource if you have to. I believe 100% that the business of the future, and I was saying this earlier on to a business owner, is have 2 or 3 key employees and outsource everything else. That's where I see the business of the future. And I think this is a great opportunity, because it makes it easier for us to scale. Because a lot of us do not like managing people. Because we don't like managing people, we only have 2 or 3 key people and we outsource everything else. If somebody doesn't do the job, we just fire them. Really simple. Just get rid of them, get somebody else. We go online, we find somebody else, and that's the way we do it. So earlier on, somebody made a comment about systems. I believe for some of us that are online, creating processes, creating systems is the most important thing. One of these seminars I run on a regular basis, and it's one of my favorite seminars, is how do we create processes? How do we create systems to make our life easier? And I have found over the years is the only way I can grow my business, the only way I can grow my business is when I become more effective. And the only way that I become more effective is by creating systems, by creating processes, by giving people very, very clear instructions of exactly what they need to do. And I promise you that any one of you online, you can really scale a business if you become better. If you become better at creating systems, at creating processes, at creating ways of doing things, because then you can almost like replicate yourself. You know, even running webinars. I could teach any one of you to run a webinar. Why? Because I've written it down. It's very detailed. It's easy. If you follow the instructions, running webinars is not complicated. If you don't follow the instructions, if you don't read the instructions, running webinars can be a pain in the ass. So the reality is that's the same thing when it comes to operating your business. I would encourage all of you, if you want to do one really good thing in 2018 is come up with an operations manual for your business. Come up with systems, processes, things that you can do. Use technology to make you more effective. For example, teach your people how to send emails out more effectively. Teach your people how to write content. Teach your people how to, all these things. But write it down. It's like a recipe. Once you write down recipes, anybody can replicate what you do. And that's really what you want to get into your business, is ways of replicating yourself. Develop a training plan for your employees. Maybe 2018 is the year when you send your employees to be trained to become much better at what they are doing. Focus on results, not on how many hours they work. This is a key thing for me. I don't really care how many hours my employees work. All I care about, did they get results? That's all I care about. Your job as a business owner, your job as a leader, is to inspire and motivate people. That is your job. And the more time you spend inspiring and motivate people, the better it is for you. So focus on that, not doing things, working on your business rather than in your business. A lot of us are working too much in our businesses, not enough on our businesses. Just be very, very careful of that. The other thing that we really need to focus on is our numbers. I mean, I had a very good example of the last couple of days. And I was saying to a group of business owners that I was working with yesterday, is I understand accounting, I understand bookkeeping, but I really feel sorry for business owners that don't. Because this week my accountants were doing my financials, and they made so many little mistakes that if I was not observant, I would have paid more. For example, they forgot to ask me how much my home office costs for the business. They didn't calculate my taxes properly. They made a couple of stupid little mistakes. And then I realized, as a business owner, not knowing the numbers part of your business is a really bad excuse. You have no option, because otherwise it's the blind leading the blind. Really it is. Because you are relying on other people and you do not understand what they're doing wrong. So you are paying for somebody's expertise. You're not even sure if you know they're doing it properly. But there are certain things that you as a business owner need to be very, very clear on. Firstly, what gross profit margins am I achieving in my business? That's the first thing. The second thing, if those are too low, what do I actually want to achieve? So you set yourself targets, because sometimes the solution is a simple one. Just increase your selling prices. That's really the solution. The other thing we need to do on a regular basis is monitor our expense ratios. One of the exercises I've been going through over the last 12 months is to really analyze every single expense in our business and ask this very simple question. Do we need this? And are we getting the best value for money? And if the answer is no, we need to address it. And we've addressed a bunch of the stuff. For example, changed our technology, changed our email software, changed a bunch of things. Why? Because why are we spending the money if we don't need to? Develop budgets for yourself. I'm only allowed to spend so much on this. I'm only allowed to spend so much on that. And get a good accountant. This is really, really key. Get yourself an accountant that you understand, that explains things to you, that is reliable. These are the things that we need. This is what makes us great business owners. And a couple of final slides. I encourage all of you, if you learn nothing else from me today, find yourself great mentors. One of the things that I've done, and some of the most successful business owners that I know have done over the years, is they find people that they can hang around with on a regular basis, that can encourage them, that motivates them, that can listen to them. All of us need this. Running a business is very, very hard. I really believe this. I think it's one of the most difficult things we do in our life. When we have people we trust that we can go to, that can advise us and guide us, it saves us so much heartache. It saves us so much time, and it saves us so much money. So find yourself great mentors. The most successful business owners I know find themselves great mentors. And finally, and most importantly, is never give up. You've got to understand, I understand as a business owner, that building a business is really hard. That you go through stages where you think, you know what, I understand, I know what I'm doing. And then other stages you get depressed, you get angry, you feel like it's overwhelming. That's the life of a business owner. But we've got to work through those things. That's how we survive, is we work through these things, we focus on the positive things, and eventually we come out on the other side. And I think that is the key thing. So let me just summarize. You've got to create a very clear vision of exactly what you want. Make sure that you create a plan, a simple plan like I showed you on the screen, a simple plan that works for you. And you can email me and I'll send you that. Make sure that you focus on marketing. You've really got to become good at marketing. Marketing has got to be your thing. If that's one of the things you've got to learn, go to more seminars, attend more webinars. Just learn, become a better marketer. Focus on sales. You've got to become really, really good at sales. If you don't have good processes, if you don't have good systems, if you don't have that, you're going to struggle. So make sure you do that. Find good people. You don't have to employ people. You can outsource things, but find good people that work with to work with, that are reliable, that get back to you, that do the job properly. Really key. The sixth thing is find yourself good mentors, people that you can meet with regularly. Go out for coffee that'll encourage you, that'll motivate you. And finally, and most importantly, the secret is never give up. Focus on these things. And my wish for you is that you build a great business that you love working in every single day, that you make money that you want to make, or that you create jobs in your community, whatever your goal is. This is what I wish for you, because I think running a business is one of the greatest things we'll ever do, but also one of the most difficult. But it's so rewarding when we have a bit of success, and that is what we offer. So focus on these things, build a very successful business, and I'll be very happy for you.